This is the lineup for the arms and shoulders women's single scull, with Belarus, Korea, France, Ukraine, Israel, and Brazil in the medal final. We had this B final in the morning, but now we come to the medal final. Here we have a still happy Ludmila Vavchuk of Belarus. She looks confident, doesn't she? Lee Yongri of Korea in lane number 2. Repechage winner Nathalie Benoit, probably the favorite of this race, or one of the favorites, clocking the fastest heat time, 5:57 for her. But also her lane neighbor here in the picture, Alla Luzenko, one of the most experienced athletes in this field. 6:02 was her heat time, 5 seconds slower, but both were unchallenged. So let's see how this medal final develops.
Last time we saw the Ukraine and France go head-to-head was in Munich, and that time Ukraine came out ahead with the gold medal.
All right. So let's see also Moran Samuel from Israel and Claudia Santos of Brazil. A race in this final. Claudia Santos being a silver medalist of the Carapiro World Championships last year. So she might be coming into that picture as well. She hasn't competed this season so far in Europe, but just came over for this event for the World Rowing Championships at Bled. So actually, talking about Paralympic qualification rules, this time it's the first 8 of this event that qualify. So we have already 2 crews that won and came second in the B final already qualified, and now these crews are all these nations have all qualified their boats for the Paralympic Games, being in the medal final.
So they can tick that off their checklist. They're through to the Olympic Games, and now a lot of people expressed the relief of making that final. Oh, yeah. And now you get to focus solely on now winning a medal at the World Championships.
So actually it's a 2-stage event, this one. Once making the Olympic qualification rule to get into that vital berth, and once you made it, it's all about, okay, I prepared well, what can I do today? Can I win a medal? This is the strongest athlete in the field physically, Alla Luzhenko of Ukraine, the world champion of 2009. She did not race last year, but then came back to the Munich stage of the World Cup where the adaptive races were held and won there.
And Benoit in France's boat, showing why she was the world champion. This is not her right here. They just showed her.
Santos, yes. And this is Lee Yongre for Korea. Long stroke, also a very powerful athlete. This is Santos
from Brazil.
Brazil, yes. You're right.
And they're from Belarus in lane 1.
Ludmila Vavchuk, silver medalist of the Beijing Olympic Games, actually. Paralympic Games, of course. And bronze medalist 2 years ago at Poznan World Rowing Championships. So this is really also a race of experienced single scullers. Only the Korean being a sort of newcomer, but she was also in the final 2 years ago. So not really. So there's a scene of athletes now established. You remember this class has only been entered into the World Rowing programs 8 years ago, 2003 Milan. So this is a new class, a totally new class. So it's becoming more and more competitive each year.
That's what I was just thinking. Every year the competition gets tighter and tighter, and just to make for the qualification within your own country. And I was talking to the Great Britain team, and they said that the selection for the 4 this last year was really very intense, including the coxswain.
Okay.
So here we see why she posted the fastest time, Nathalie Benoit, rowing a lower stroke rate than Lysenko from Ukraine, but really making the most out of every stroke in the water, and really, really excellent catches.
Absolutely. 31 years of age is Benoit. Luzhenko much older. I may say this in this time. Well, this time, born in 1969. So Nathalie Benoit, school teacher from France, and reigning world champion as well. in the absence of Alla Luzhenko. So this is the battle for gold between Benoit of France and Luzhenko of Ukraine, coming to the halfway mark. It's just over half a length. What a great race from these fine athletes. 2:47 is a good time as well. So let's see, we're way below 6 minutes in this race.
And what we saw from Luzhenko, even in the heat, I mean, she won by quite a bit, but she's just an incredibly resilient woman. She can maintain this super high stroke rate. She will do it, and she just keeps pounding away. She's not going to let Benoit out of her sights, and that margin has not changed. I mean, that's half a length, and that is extremely close.
Yeah, it might even be that Luzhenko is sneaking in a bit, coming closer. The reigning world champion from France, battling it out with the world champion of 2009, not competing last year. This is really interesting here. It's centimeter by centimeter, inch by inch, that Luzhenko of Ukraine makes good ground here, and coming closer and closer. Half a canvas now for Benoit of France, who now also makes it an even bigger movement with her head, showing the fatigue a little bit more than on the first half of the race, even missing some strokes there. Level pegging between Luzhenko of France. That's probably the decisive moment of the race. Can Benoit hold on to her race pace?
And several lengths back, but still very close, a race between, it appears to be Korea and Israel.
So here's the leading athlete at this moment, but it's just over a meter. It's under a deck, you would say, yes, between her and Benoit of France, Nathalie Benoit. Can she come back? Can she come back on the last quarter of this race?
I have to say, Luzhenko is incredibly consistent. She's at rate 34, and she has just been steady all the way through. I saw the same thing with Benoit in the heat, but a lower stroke rate, and then you go put them side by side, and it truly becomes a battle of wills, especially when you've got a gold medal on the line.
Yeah. Well, Luzhenko suffered a car accident injury in 1996 and had to have both her legs amputated, and I think many of these athletes, especially in the arms and shoulders events, suffered accidents and thus have to live in a wheelchair. But this is a great opportunity to really cope with this circumstance and cope with your disability and display what you can do in a sport. Coming to the final stage of this race, coming to the line, it's Luzhenko winning another gold, so winning another title after 2009, just beating Benoit of France, who takes a fantastic silver medal, and a big gap now to the bronze medalist, and that's, as you said, it's Moran Samuel of Israel taking the bronze medal. Fantastic bronze medal for Israel here in this event. Yeah, coming back from fourth place at the halfway mark, Samuel of Israel securing a medal for her, and also, of course, the Paralympic qualification. But here's the winner. That's Alla Luzhenko of Ukraine.
We knew she would have that quick start, and but France actually, with the longer stroke, got ahead, and then Luzhenko just wore Benoit down all the way to the finish. World champion against world champion. Next year it'll be a fight for the Olympic medal.
Absolutely. Two fine athletes, and here we have the confirmation of that race. Alla Luzhenko winning gold, Benoit silver, Moran Samuel bronze.